Hello there.
Hi.
Okay, so I'll start with an intro. Hi guys, this is Toby Morrison. I'm doing this interview today with a special guest called Emily Grace. Welcome, Emily.
Hi.
Nice hair today. Love it.
Thank you.
Now, most people wouldn't know what you've been through because you look so great right now. And you're probably high because I know you've done some pretty big achievements in the last few weeks. But just explain where you were, a year ago.
A year ago, I was housebound and 80% of the time bedbound. I had stopped studying my architecture degree and I had stopped working. And a year ago, in about a month, I was in hospital having my appendix out and having a slight mental breakdown, which sent me to rock bottom.
Mm. And the cause of all this was chronic fatigue syndrome, yeah?
Yeah, I had been sick with chronic fatigue for about 11 months at that point, and no one knew what was wrong at the start. I'd started off with the flu, and then I'd get a little bit better, and then I'd drop back again. So I kept studying. I was studying 60 hours a week.
Whoa.
I was trying to go to at least 25 contact hours in the city, which was taking me an hour travel time.
Yeah.
And I kept that up for about 2 months, and then I could not move from bed. Studying was not on the cards for me then.
Yeah. Now, describe in exactly what it was like before you started the online program. Like, where were you at? What kind of mindset were you in? Like, did you feel like you couldn't get better? Was there no kind of hope?
There was no ideas anywhere in my house between my mother, me, and my sister that I would be getting better anytime soon. We were in the middle of moving house 3 months after I got sick.
Yeah.
And the 3 months before that, we kept saying, she'll be better soon, she'll be better soon, she'll be able to help. And it got to 2 days before moving, and I couldn't even pack my own clothes into a box sitting on my bed. And then...
So were you physically, you just could barely move?
I was dizzy on top of absolutely no strength to move my arms, legs, and get myself anywhere. I needed help getting to the toilet. We were lucky enough to have a bath in both houses, and so Mum was bathing and washing me, and I had all my meals cooked and brought to me. I was very, very lucky to have my mother. And once we got into the new house, it was a mess because I couldn't do anything. My mum's had some chronic health issues too, and she has to have breaks as well as sleep. So when I got in the house, I was depressed. I didn't go out. I didn't see my friends for close to 3 months. My sister just had no idea what to do with me because I'd be sitting there, someone would ask me a question, and I'd cry. I didn't have an answer. I just cried. And it was a good 6 months of this back and forth, me thinking I'm never going to get better. I'm going to be stuck sitting on this couch for the rest of my life.
You didn't know?
Nope.
And so what happened when you started the program?
I started the program about a week before my appendix, and I was looking all good, and I was in a better mind frame, and then my appendix decided to jump ship. And after I'd recovered from that, I started from the very beginning of the program, and I finally started to see a light at the end of the tunnel. I was getting myself up. I couldn't wash my hair in the bath because my stomach was still sore and not recovered as quickly from the surgery.
Yeah.
But I was moving around. I started to go back outside, which I had missed because I love sitting in the garden with my camera. And it was slow and very steady. Well, no, steady's not the right word because it was up and down at the beginning.
Can I ask, so before you signed up to the program, where specifically, what were you trying to improve on? And, did you see any improvements before you started the program, or was it more, when you started the program, it was like a catalyst for change for you?
Before I started the program, I was trying to focus on my nutrition because I had struggled so long with food intolerances from the chronic fatigue that I didn't want to eat, let alone eat something good for me. So I'd started that before, and I was doing a pretty bad job. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
My mum was struggling because she was just like, I just need to get any food into you that I can. I lost 12 kilos in the first 6 months.
Was that and was that due to like just being so deconditioned, your body just started to crumble? Yeah.
Yeah, in the first 6 months, the 12 kilos was I basically stopped eating more than twice a day. I was not moving, and I was hardly drinking any water. I had nothing, and I had no energy from no eating.
Energy.
So,
no.
And then, so the nutrition was failing me before the program, and then I got in there, and it was like, okay, I actually know, and I understand this. It's making sense to me now.
And so, like, when did you start to see changes within your body? Like, did you kind of, I mean, obviously it's not an overnight thing, but did you start to notice change pretty quickly?
Within about 3 weeks of doing the program, which I only watched 2 videos in that, I noticed I was improving. It wasn't so much as getting up and going for walks, but I was up, I was smiling. Mum was managing to get food into me.
Yeah.
And routine has always been my hardest to stick to. And it's because my sister works random shifts. She's studying at TAFE, so it's never the same hours.
Yeah.
And Mum's always home, so we just go with the flow. But in those first 3 weeks, I really sat down and I worked out, get up now and slowly move it back. Because we were sleeping, like, way into mid-morning.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was not helping me, so now I've got it back.
And what improvements did you notice straight away? Did your symptoms start to dissolve a little bit, or did you have a bit more energy and stamina to do more things? What was it for you?
My biggest was my mindset. I found that day-to-day things didn't scare me as much because my mind was stopping me doing lots of things because of fear of feeling ill. I suffered with nausea really bad. And it was once my mindset changed and I got some food and I started eating properly, that was what changed. I started to my energy was slowly building, and I was getting up and doing little things like walking to the fridge to get myself a bottle of water instead of getting Mum to get it.
So just for the viewers out there, because there's obviously a lot of people out there who are struggling and don't know what's wrong with them. Tell me some of the symptoms that you had going on with you before you started the program. You
before I started,
nausea.
I had nausea. My blood pressure was up and down, and I had heart palpitations. My vision was slightly affected in bright lights or fast moving. I couldn't concentrate at all. I'd get asked a question, and 2 minutes later, I would not remember the topic. I would seem so long ago now. It was only last year.
A lot can happen in 12 months, when you when you do the right stuff.
So much. I could not go in a car. Any motion would make me really, really sick.
Yeah, and I mean, just to point out, you were obviously enrolled in the online program, even though you lived in Melbourne, because you physically couldn't actually get in a car and come to us. So that was your first option, and one of your milestones and your goals was to be able to drive to the centre. And did you do that?
Yes, I did. I've been doing it for the past 4 months now, once a month.
Yeah, and you drive in yourself, and how long does it take you to get there?
And it takes me 45 minutes in no traffic.
And you do a complete hour in the centre, and then you come home. And what does that feel like? Like, how does that feel like? I mean, you're so used to it now because you've done it for 4 months, but like, if you remember back to that first time, that's a huge deal.
That first time, I was ecstatic. I got home and I was like, I don't want to sit on my couch and rest. I want to continue doing things. I am so happy. But Mum was like, you won't be happy tomorrow if you don't rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I mean, did you think that was possible? No.
No. There was at the start of the online program, I didn't think it was possible.
Wow.
And then it was not even, I think it was between 6 and 8 months, and I was at the centre seeing you guys.
That's a pretty quick transformation.
It was.
Like, I mean, it's perfect. It's organic because you did it on your own, but I mean, it's pretty fascinating to only 8 months to see that change. And more importantly, like the things that you continue to tick off. I mean, what are some of the things you've done in the past few months that have just been unbelievable? Like, what have you done? Tell the viewers.
In the last few months, I have driven myself and my sister down to the beach, which was close to 2 hours away, to pick up a snake tank because she decided to get a snake for a pet. And we hung out at the beach and at a cafe for 3 hours so I could have a little bit of a rest and eat something.
Yeah, now, and people will appreciate this because, people find it so hard to even have a conversation for 20 minutes, let alone get in the car for 2 hours and actually enjoy your time.
Oh, I was concentrating on the road, but I was also singing and dancing with my sister. She has videos of it, and I hope they never see the light of day. But I haven't stayed anywhere else other than my house in almost 3 years.
Wow.
And last November, I went to Queensland, which is a 2.5-hour flight.
Yeah.
With just my sister and 2 of her friends. And I swam every day in the pool. I was walking around Surfers Paradise, and we'd go out for dinner each night. And I would come back home a few hours before them and get up the next day and do it all again. And I did that for 6 days. And I came home and I was tired for 1 day after, but it was normal people tired, not chronic fatigue tired. And that was all the downfall that I had from that week.
That's not a downfall, is it?
No, I was really anxious up the week up to going away. Especially the plane, because I had suffered so badly with the motion sickness in the car.
Yeah.
And then this weekend just gone, I was away on a houseboat with my friends from high school, which was 2 hours drive up through mountains, windy, and I didn't drive, which I was, again, very nervous about because no one else other than my mother has driven me since I got sick.
Wow, right.
And I spent 2 days in the sun and the water on a boat, and I had the best weekend.
Active, happy, socialising. Yeah. You don't really have chronic fatigue syndrome anymore. Like you're starting to live again. It's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's you deserve it, and you've done the work. It's but by the sounds of it, you've done so much in the past year, and I guess because you missed out on a lot of life, you're kind of making up for it now. But in the right way and in the sensible way, and you continue to do the right work through the program. So really, you started to notice change straight away through the program within the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Your biggest goal to date was that to go to Queensland and fly. You catch a plane and all that. And so, what was that feeling like when you came home from that experience? It
was surreal for about 2 days.
Yeah.
I was like waiting to crash from it. And I think that was half my issue, was waiting for the crash, because I was actually making myself feel worse. But it wasn't any worse than when I left for Queensland. And after about 3 days of getting home, it settled in my head that I had actually made it out of the state by myself and caught a plane home by myself, completely alone, which I've never done in my life. So to do it with chronic fatigue, I was happy.
So did it give you a sense of confidence? Like, what was the biggest thing you got away from that experience?
That I wasn't doing quite enough in my day. That it showed me that I can do a lot more physically than I thought, and and still feel good afterwards.
Which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Now, it's pretty phenomenal, and like I've kind of seen your journey over the last year, and obviously you come into the centre now and get coaching with Raya. I want to ask you this question, which is, kind of hard. I mean, what has been the best part about the program for you? I know there's so many different facets of the program because it covers every area of recovery. But there's the online forum. There's the coaches. What is it for you that you could say the best part about the coaching has been, or the program?
The best part at the start was the structure of the videos and knowing exactly where I stood with what I had to do. There was no fuzzy grey lines of this is what you should be doing, need to be doing, but make it work for you, because it is essentially, you can personalise it, and that was what I loved at the start. And as I got further into it and I started getting better, it was all the people in the online forum that are so lovely.
Yeah.
And then, because I was lucky enough to be in Melbourne, getting to come to the centre and actually spending an hour doing something with someone in person. But it was the online. I love the people in there.
Yeah, it's an amazing community, and the people who aren't in it you can't explain it to people. The sense, we've got 450 members right now, and it's growing really quickly. But there's a sense of there's something special in the group, because I guess we've all been through the hard times, and we're all on our journey to improving ourselves and getting our lives back. And just your stories, when we post success stories and people hear about the little achievements each week that everyone's doing, it lifts everyone up. And when we're having bad days, it's all supportive. It's not like, we don't cry on it and go, oh, this is terrible. It's really supportive in the sense that it's practical and moving people forwards rather than stagnating. Now, I'm going to ask you another question, which is even harder. Where would you be right now if you didn't take that leap and start the program in the first place?
I would have been exactly where I was close to a year ago, a bit more than a year, sitting either in my bed or in the lounge room, surrounded by boxes because we would not have unpacked the house, with my mother just as depressed as I was because the house wasn't unpacked, not eating properly, and I would have lost all my friends and my family, who only just started to get it as I started to get better, which was a little frustrating. But as much as I don't see them very often as it is, but when I did see them before I was sick, it was really good. When I got sick, I didn't get to see them for close to the 2 years that I was. And so I would be sitting in my own little bubble, alone and very sad.
So technically, you committing yourself to the program has really given you your life back.
Yeah, it saved what little I had left of my old life, but it's made it better.
Wow. Amazing. So good to hear. I'm sure everyone at home as well is, going to get a lot out of this as well. Now, you've probably tried lots of things in the past, and you've probably seen a lot of different things over the internet, and I guess there's a lot of suspicion, I guess skeptical people out there, because they've tried so many things that haven't worked, and I'm sure you're in the same boat. What makes this program so different to everything else that you've tried or seen?
It's not, you say it all the time, it's not a quick fix. It is not something that you're giving us to make us better, you're giving us the information. Whereas everywhere else I see, it's doctors throwing pills at you, telling you to do this and do that, but not giving you the information behind it, not explaining why and how you've ended up here. And then it's the step-by-step process that makes it work. And it's so different to, I've seen specialists, I've seen child psychologists, psychiatrists, nutritionists, naturopaths, and they all just want to shove stuff at you and get you out the door. And you guys make it that you want to keep us around, even when we're healthy.
I teach you how to get your life back.
Yes.
That's what I do. That's the difference, you know, and that's what makes me so happy when you mention that. You know, it's true. Like, it's not about giving you stuff to get you out of the door. It's about giving you yourself back and showing you how to look after yourself and you know, build your health long term. And you know, you're doing that. And you know, I think what you've learnt in this past year, you'll take in forever. Of course, there'll be ups and downs with life as you get better and you start to deal with real life stuff, but you're an inspiration, really. It's pretty nuts. It's crazy. I mean, it's great just for me even to listen to your story, because I see it, you know, you see it on the forum, and you know, we see glimpses of your life and what you're doing now, but just phenomenal, really. Crazy. Now, I've got a couple more questions for you. Now, let me see. This was a good one. So, what would you say to anyone toying with the idea of going into the online program? Because I think I remember you were toying with that idea for a few weeks and wondering whether it was for you, and is this just another program to try and do? What would you say to those people?
I would definitely suggest talking to someone either in it, or if you can get on to Raya or Toby, because they are so busy, getting even 2 minutes to just talk to them and get to know what they're about. It's not just the online content, it's the people behind it, and that is what sold me in the end. It was that I wasn't just getting a computer screen, I was getting real people, and there's so many of us out there, and there's so many of us that we would talk to you, and as we are getting better, we want to share this with everybody.
So true. You know, I guess the other thing is, you know, what the program is. It's not just a program that you look at and do. You're going into something much, much more bigger than that. That's supporting you on your journey to better health. You know, in every area of your life. Now, this is a bit of a personal one for me. How would you describe myself? You know, how would you describe myself and Raya, who are really behind the program and set this up?
I love both of you with everything I've got. You are two incredible people who I cannot imagine the world without you both. And I cannot imagine my life without you both, or my family's. My mum's like, I want to meet Toby. He seems awesome. He is awesome. Looks without a shirt on too.
Yeah, I like to go surfing, and yeah, there's a few photos on my Facebook without the top on. It's true.
Yep. The online group, we all love them.
So, and what about Raya? I mean, what is it for you? Is it we inspire you? Is it our stories? Is it what we do now?
It's a combination of it all. You've been there, Raya especially. I stumbled along her Instagram profile before I'd even heard about the CFS online, and I was watching her and I saw her make it through the program, and then she started posting photos of her at the gym, and I was like, I want to get there. And then to see her start working with you, and you two working together is a perfect match, because you are entertaining, you are inspiring, but you also are very down to earth. You don't talk crap.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and I mean, you've been getting some one-on-one coaching with Raya. How has that helped you in conjunction with the online program? Because there is that component of that one-on-one touch, which I believe is really powerful as well.
Yeah, that I had finished all the modules in the online program, and I'd hit sort of a plateau. I was not going backwards, but I wasn't really increasing or improving as much as I had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when I started seeing Raya, it was like, even after that first session, it was like, bang, you can do more, you've got the information, and she's here to keep you accountable.
Now, before we go, what would you say to anyone who hasn't considered the online program and is kind of just, like you and me were, like I was 10 years ago and you were last year before you started the program, you constantly Googling and Instagramming and Facebooking and YouTubing, treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome, how do I get better, can I get better? What would you say to those people who haven't found the program yet or even know about us? What would you say to them?
I would say it will be the best thing for you to look into, and even your website, even the videos you post on YouTube, they are an insight into what you guys do and what you're all about. And they were just the best starting point to get into the online program. They're not overly detailed, so if you are struggling with brain fog and concentration issues, you get the snapshot of information. And then, because you will fall in love with the videos, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Going further and looking into the online program or the one-on-one at the centre, and even if you do any more seminars, they're definitely worth it. It was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah,
taking that step.
That's awesome. You're awesome. The fact that you just gave me shivers down my spine. It's just unbelievable what you've achieved. Now, I'm going to ask you a personal question. What's the biggest thing you've learnt from this whole experience? Because, I believe that when we go through such hard times and come out the other end, we bring on a certain sense of wisdom or learning and knowledge. What have you taken out of this long suffering journey?
There's two things that stick out in my mind. There's one that is personally in my own head. Before I got sick, I'd keep things in. I would never admit I was struggling or that I needed help. And so when I first got sick, I denied I was sick to anybody and everybody. And over the journey of getting better, and especially after I started the program, I learnt that I could ask for help and I could admit that I was not doing as well as I'd want to. And then the other thing is I have learnt that everyone around me has their own story, and it's what makes them important and it's what makes them special, and to take time to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we can take life for granted a lot, and just because we think we might have it right doesn't mean that everyone else does. And I think, we can learn from everyone's story. And, it's funny you mentioned that because with the amount of people I help now and see on a weekly basis, I learn just as much as I give and teach to all my clients because, their suffering can teach me something. What's going on with your hair, girl?
I don't know. It doesn't work.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or say, before we end this interview?
Does anyone think I should just be cousin it because my hair thinks I should? No, that's it.
Yeah. I really appreciate your time. I'm sure everyone else does as well. Your story is you're leaving a legacy behind for everyone else, and you might not know it, and people don't know it, but it's true. You're a part of something much bigger that we don't even know what it is. That's how good it is. So I really appreciate your time, and I take my hat off to you because you've done the work. You've gone through it. You've had the ups and downs, and you're starting to really blossom. You're like going into like this flower, and you've exploded. And now every weekend you're doing something different, and it's so great to see you living life again because that's what it's really about.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, Em.
Thanks.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.